Hey guys, welcome back. I'm Kylie and today I'm having just dried noodles with sugar, soy sauce and cilantro and fried garlic. And I have spicy California roll here with papaya salad in the middle. So grab your spoons, grab your forks, or grab your chopsticks and let's eat together. So this cilantro is from my garden bed, so it's super fresh. Let's take the first bite. Typically I like to put that sambal hot sauce on top of this so it has a little more flavor to it, but the papaya salad is pretty spicy, so this was supposed to neutralize it.
Yeah, I'm interested to try the papaya salad today. On day
After
two,
it's
after
been
it's had a
soaked.
night to sit in the juice. And
Yeah.
get even spicier than it was last night.
My husband is here with us again because the kids aren't here. And yeah. So we are on season 4 of Better Call Saul.
That's how we've been spending our fast-paced rock star lifestyle evenings.
It's so good. We're just addicted to it. We'll just let it go and run and it'll just keeps you hooked.
Mm-hmm. Just told him about the t-shirt we saw the other day at the gas station when we stopped for gas on our road trip to get Portillo's. The one that said, I just found out that my normal lifestyle is called quarantine. In quotations. How is it? Did you do the sushi yet? Yeah.
I found another, I think these are called spoon holders or whatever, but I'm gonna call it a catch plate because that's what it is and that's what I'm using it for. And this one's metal, so just living the dream over here. So what we've seen so far in Better Call Saul about his brother is like
Annoying.
pretty much his brother is just in pursuit of perfection, right? Like he can never admit he's wrong. And I honestly think that alone like drives you crazy.
Yeah.
So it just got me thinking because I mean, I was kind of like this when I was younger. I just liked doing things a certain way. And if somebody didn't do it that way, it would bother me. I know I'm still like that right now. Somewhat. But I wonder if you can consider that like some form of mental illness, because like for me, if somebody doesn't do something the way I think is the right way or the most efficient way, it automatically triggers or increases my OCD and I get like, I don't know, I just get anxious. And obviously it's something super trivial, so I just hold it in and I don't say anything about it because it's dumb, right? Like you just have to learn how to choose your battles, especially when you get married. But then eventually all of that bottles up, builds up, and then it just takes one little thing and then you just explode. Which in the series, he tries to overcome it, you know, and tries to like self-medicate, I guess, by like exposing himself to, what does he call it? Like hypersensitivity to electromagnetic.
Yeah.
It eventually drives him mad and he just destroys his house. And drives like all the people that care about him in his life away.
Yep.
So it just can sometimes put a lot of things into perspective when you're watching it play out in somebody else's life. I know it's not real, but there are situations or instances where it could be realistic. Like maybe not like a sensitivity to magnetism, but like just anything else, right?
Mm-hmm. Do you think they all really, like everybody that was involved in his life, really believed that it was a medical condition? Or do you think they were just going along with him saying they believed it, even though they all knew it was a mental disorder?
I think they knew that it was on a level mental, but then when they would see it for themselves, they would think that it's physical, but they also weren't the ones taking care of him and seeing him on a daily basis. So it's easier to just accept it for what it is, you know, and just help him relieve whatever he can, right? Any discomfort that he's feeling, because what else can you really do, you know? Like, you can't just stand there and then just let him be uncomfortable, or I guess no one really knows ever what to do per se, but you just try to lessen the blow or lessen the discomfort. But it's funny because some of my favorite parts in the series is just how good of a character, like the actor that plays Saul, how good of an actor he is, because you're totally convinced like he's that person.
Bob Odenkirk, that's his name.
Bob Odenkirk. He's like, I just think the parts where he's good with old people are so cute, and he's like, you can tell he's a salesman for sure, more so than he is a lawyer, I think.
Yeah.
But he like has a good heart. Cause like, maybe I'm wrong. Name somebody who's a dirtbag that's really good with the elderly. You know? I'm just saying, if you're really good with elderly people, then you must somewhat have some good in you, or... You looked at me like you were confused.
Thought you wanted me to really answer that question. I was like, I don't know.
It was rhetorical.
Okay.
The weather's been weird lately.
Yeah. Well, some places getting snow and everything still, so. Maybe the weather got the corona too.
Funny story. I had a dentist appointment this morning, and they take your temperature before you go in, and I don't know why I wasn't thinking or using my brain, but it was like 60 degrees this morning. Like, that doesn't actually prompt you to use the AC in the car, because it actually wasn't really that warm.
Correct.
So I just drove with the windows down. Not windows, my window cracked, right? Because it was like sprinkling on and off. However, when I got there and called them to tell them I was there, I did watch the clock. It took them about 12 minutes to come out and take my temperature. So I don't know if that had anything to do with it, but I guess her thermometer kept registering my temperature at 102. And I was so confused because I felt fine. I didn't feel like I had a temperature. I even was like, hey, I've been like sitting in the car and I don't have my car on and my AC's not on. Like my window's just been cracked. So like, you know, everybody panics when they see a dog in the car with only the windows cracked because the heat in the car rises substantially compared to the outside temperature, right? So I'm guessing maybe that's what took place or whatever. But long story short, they wouldn't see me and I had to reschedule. And then immediately I came home and took my temperature probably 15 times. And it kept saying 97 something, right? Like 97.4, 97.5, 97.6, but like it wasn't fluctuating past 97.
Correct.
So I was so confused because I didn't feel like I had a temperature and my thermometer was saying I didn't have a temperature, and I use that thermometer for our kids and it's pretty accurate in telling us whenever they don't feel good. Oh, I forgot to tell you this too. So I'm super paranoid because I'm like, oh my gosh, my kids aren't here, so like I need to make sure before they come back that I am not exposing them to anything. But we wear a mask and do hand sanitizer and wash our hands any chance we get whenever we're out. So I don't think I was being negligent or careless, which, you know, I mean, I'm not saying people who don't will get it or whatever. I'm just saying, like, I guess you can't be too careful. But anyway, I am so paranoid. So they're offering free tests at the health department. And so my husband's like, you're never going to be able to sleep ever again unless you go and take the test. So I went and got tested and they're like, hi, why are you here? And I told them, and she was like, did you drink coffee before you went? And I was like, yeah. She's like, yeah, sometimes that can like throw the temperature reading off. And I told her about sitting in the car and she's like, absolutely, that can throw your temperature off. Like she was just saying, like, it's so inaccurate for the doctor's offices to be taking temperatures of people in their car because that doesn't really reflect their true body temperature. I mean, it's good that they're taking precautions, but it's not the most accurate way. And she said, the most accurate way is to take it rectally.
I was gonna say you need to go old school back when I was a kid. Yeah.
So her and I just look at each other and we just start laughing. She's like, obviously you're not gonna stick your butt out the window when you go to the doctor.
Yeah, you gotta do it old school.
So she's like, yeah, I mean, I would be concerned too. So she's like, usually we tell you to self-quarantine for 7 days because that's the maximum, but she's like, it typically has been taking 2 to 3 days to get results. So I guess I'll just wait and see. But when they did the test, like they warned me and they're like, okay, just put your head against the headrest and this is gonna sting a little bit. It might make you sneeze. It'll definitely make your eyes water, but just hold still and it'll be over in a minute.
And then they poked your brain through your nose.
Literally shoved the longest stick I've ever seen and tickled my brain. And like I could barely drive because my eyes were so watery. But they did give me a couple free masks, so that's that.
Yeah. Well, now you know.
Now I know for sure.
Now you know on the other end what it used to feel like getting your temperature taken rectally.
They didn't actually do that to adults, did they?
Did it to everybody.
Oh, that's so awkward.
That's old school.
It's so violating.
Keeps you humble too. That's what's wrong with your generation. Guys have never had rectal temperature taken.
Ew. Okay, was this just me? It probably is just me. Because I'm weird like that. But did anyone else, whenever they went to their preferred healthcare provider, up until I was like maybe 8th grade, 7th grade. My pediatrician, whenever I'd go for like a physical, I would feel violated after. And I know that, I mean, he wouldn't touch me weird because like my dad was in the room, but like it's weird because like my dad was like watching the doctor like look at my body. So that was what was weird to me. I mean, your parents have to be in there, right? Because doctors are sometimes, I mean, look at the gymnastics doctor, right? I mean, your parents have to be in there, but it just always felt super violating. And then like this past year before my daughter started kindergarten, she had to get like, you know, a physical, just a screening, just to make sure she was okay to start school. And they do, it was, I guess, it was nice to know that they did the same thing, but it wasn't nice to know because I understood how just uncomfortable it was. And after it happened, my daughter was like, why did that happen? And I just had to tell her, you know, it's like they just want to make sure that nobody's hurting you and you're not sick and you don't have anything down there that needs to be taken care of. And it was a weird conversation to have. And I just remember how gross I felt after. And I just can't even imagine, like, that's something that's like, you're not supposed to feel violated about because it's just for your own good. So can you imagine if somebody really has been actually violated? Like, I can only imagine that feeling being like 20,000 times worse just because it was an act of violation. It's too hard being a person.
I don't know what to say.
All I know is I just thank God there are people who are good at what they do, being like a doctor and a pediatrician and stuff, because it would just make me too uncomfortable, I guess. Do you think that like feeling embarrassed or that feeling, like, do you think it's taught or do you think it's something that's just like innate?
It's just innate.
But you know what's actually really funny? Because in college, one of my professors did her doctorate dissertation on the feeling of embarrassment, and she was telling us a story about her walking to class one time and slipping on ice and falling and like initially feeling embarrassed, but then after she realized that no one was around to see it, like the feeling went away. So her point was that the feeling of embarrassment almost doesn't exist unless there's a witness or unless you're involved with somebody else, because you can't feel embarrassed for yourself. Although I beg to differ, because sometimes I still feel embarrassed. Like, I'll watch a scenario play out and it's not even happening to me, and I'm like, oh, I'm embarrassed. Like, I'm so embarrassed.
So then you need to sit down and write a rebuttal to her dissertation about.
She's gonna be like, oh yeah, and where's your doctorate dissertation? Be like, oh yeah, sorry.
Tell her I learned on the streets.
Maybe it's just me. Funny story about slipping on ice though. This is like the true definition of karma. I was walking to class one time and it was super icy on the sidewalk. I don't even know why I guess it took them a little while because it was like my first class to go and sprinkle salt, right? Well, I was walking really slow because I didn't want to fall on my butt. And I was walking from my dorm, so there were a bunch of people that were going to class. And this person was getting so frustrated with me that I was walking so slow that if you, like, you know, like a sidewalk, it's a two-way, right? So like people going in the opposite direction, you got to make way for them. So he couldn't really like go around me. But then when he got the opportunity to, he like pretty much like in a car, you know, walked around, cut me off, and immediately fell and slipped on ice. And I didn't laugh, don't think I'm evil, but I did walk past him and looked him in the eye just to be like, that's what you get. Like, now you know why I was walking slow. What do you think I was doing it for fun? Like, Obviously, I didn't want to slip on my butt, that's why. But I bet he felt really embarrassed after that. What's the equivalent when you're driving in a car? Probably when somebody like goes around you, cuts you off, and you guys end up at the same red light.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, what was that for? Okay.
No, I'm good. Thanks for asking.
So, this morning, well, yesterday when we were cleaning, we found some baby stuff that we didn't need anymore and we could get rid of. So, yesterday we sold, what did we sell?
The gate, the expendable.
The baby gate.
Yeah.
Today we sold the pack and play. So now we have more room and it feels good to purge, you know, spring cleaning, even though spring's been canceled.
Plus you're making those dollars. Get to eat for another week.
It's hard to, when a lot of people message you about one item you're trying to sell, and trying to be fair as far as like who messaged you first, even though none of them would ever know.
True.
So like, do you do it? I mean, would you say that's integrity, is that you just do it anyway? Or would you try and tell the other people so it drives the price up so you can make more money? Like dirt bag salesman.
Never know. Which one is right, which one is wrong? Are either of them wrong?
I don't know.
Exactly. See? So, are either of them right?
I don't know.
What do you do? I bet if you polled everybody, you would get 50-50 right down the middle split.
Probably. I mean, I know for sure what kind of person. I mean, obviously, we gave it to the person who messaged us first. Even yesterday, it wasn't full price, but we still gave it to the person who messaged us first because that's just fair. And I would think that I would hope that someone would treat me that way if I wanted something. But circling back to Better Call Saul, his dad owned like a convenience store, but he was like straight as an arrow and always had a good heart. So it's like he kept saying like he wasn't made for that type of business, right? Because like a lot of people owed him money, or if like someone came in with like a sob story about not having food or whatever, he would just give them free stuff or free food or whatever. And it just kind of reminded me of like, he's kind of like my dad, because my dad is like the most honest person. Like he can't lie. He'll, even if it's like even if it's just like a small white lie, even if it's like, be quiet, don't say anything, he'll like start sweating and like, like nobody's even interrogating you. But when he was younger, like he told me stories about how there was a little girl that was his friend or whatever, and they were super poor, so they didn't have food like on a regular basis. And when his mom would buy him like a treat or whatever, and he would go and give it to her, and his mom was like, why wouldn't you be the one to eat it? But I guess it's just the type of person he is. Even not too long ago, okay, maybe like, what am I? Oh, I'm not gonna have to say my age, but like 20 years ago, my mom had tuberculosis, and you know, obviously she got medication and she doesn't have it anymore, but maybe like 5 years ago, they were trying to buy life insurance for her, and she was gonna be approved and stuff, and then like right before the lady walked out the door, my dad was like, wait, 1 minute. 20 years ago, she had tuberculosis. And they were like, what? And it just totally freaked them out. And then they denied my mom.
Wow, really?
Yeah, so my mom doesn't have life insurance because my dad voluntarily gave information that they didn't even ask for. And so that, you know, that
Wow.
that
Yeah,
was,
that's
that triggered a fight.
Scenario, yeah, like.
Like, they're being too honest.
Did he do the right thing or did he not do it? Wow. Yeah, that's.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure the insurance company was like, thank you, but they would have never known. I mean, it was records from 20 years ago, and there's nothing that says once you had it, you'll get it again, or you're more prone to get it. Like, it's totally treatable. It's just, that's how it worked out.
Wow.
My mom was pissed. She probably didn't talk to him for like a month. I mean, always do the right thing. I'll never advocate for not doing the right thing, but sometimes it's like, omission isn't always lying. Just depends on the scenario, I guess.
Then it's like, would the insurance company do the same thing and reciprocate back to them and do the right thing if there was a circumstance that came up? You'd have to ask yourself, right? Big business.
Probably not.
Right. So, because if there's one thing everybody knows is that insurance companies are just like lawyers and car salesmen, they're dirt bags.
So I guess life is... I'm done. Thanks for watching. I hope everybody's staying safe and healthy. If you liked this video, give it a big thumbs up. I'd really appreciate it. Click that subscribe button for my next video. And until then, see you later.